Seahawks have an incredibly tough test, one they faced 2 weeks ago against the 49ers. It did not end well. We saw what the 49ers just did to the Eagles on the road, and that is just drag them up and down the field. I mean, it almost was comical toward the end. Deebo Samuel's just running around wherever he wanted to, and he talked a lot of smack in that week leading up to the game and backed up every bit of it. So now you look at it. I sent you this tweet from our guy Brady Henderson. Said ESPN's Football Power Index, which is a predictive model based on a ton of simulations, gives the Seahawks a 26.4% chance to make the playoffs. Their remaining strength of schedule against San Francisco, Philly, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Arizona is the 12th hardest. Seattle just fell out of the NFC's final wild card spot. So it's not an optimistic view of how this goes, Dave. What's your level of confidence? Let's go scale of 1 to 10 that this team makes the postseason.
5. I mean, I feel like you have 2 games. Does anybody see any way that they beat the 49ers? I mean, I guess if you block a punt, there's a team,
any given Sunday, Dave.
Yeah. Was it Indy that blocked 2 punts this last weekend? I think in their game, I think they blocked 2 punts. But yeah, that's a ridiculously predictive stat. If you look at the history of the NFL, you block a punt, you win, basically. So, and I was saying that last week about Dallas, some kind of special team play, turnovers, things like that. Look, they did lose 3 games. But when you watch that game the other day, and I think every time you see, same thing, I thought the same thing when they came to Lumen Field. It's like, how did they ever lose a game?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just between watching what they just did to a very good, best team in the league record-wise in the Eagles on their home field and what they just did to you 2 weeks ago. If you're being realistic and just taking your fandom out of it, you're going, no, I don't think they're going to win. Now, we say that every weekend, like, how did this team lose? How did that team win? So certainly the Seahawks can win this game. Would I put money on it? Absolutely not. I don't feel good about it. I mean, listen, the reality is the Seahawks have lost 3 in a row. They've lost 4 of 5. They had to pull one out against Washington. Otherwise, we're talking about a 5-game losing streak here, Dave. So they are lucky they were able to find a way to pull that Washington game out and win 29-26. But goodness, I mean, you know this. I don't know. I'm probably a little lower than you on if I'm going 1 to 10 on my belief that they're going to find their way into the playoffs. I'm probably more like a 4. 3.5. They got to show me something, and I do like that the offense showed up against Dallas. That made me feel better. Now I don't know where the hell the defense went. It just like we can't get both sides of the ball functioning at the same time. It appears, and most of the time it's been the offense, but this past game was the defense. So, what are we going to see against the Niners in this game, man? What are we clinging to? Give me that ray of sunshine. Give me that silver lining. Hey, man, keep an eye on this in this game. This could be the difference maker.
Yeah, the reason why I say they're a 5 is I think that, they can beat the remaining 3 teams after these 2 teams, right? Which would put them at 9 and 8. So, and maybe 9 and 8 gets you in. It did last year, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got Tennessee, you've got Arizona, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, by the way, are 7 and 5 now. And they're sitting in a wild card spot right now, currently in the AFC. But, yeah, I mean, that's why I say a 5. It's kind of 50-50. You're going to have to, have some other teams lose. And that's how they got in last year, right? I mean, Detroit Lions went to Green Bay, and they had the tiebreaker with them. They have the tiebreaker. The Rams have the tiebreaker over the Seahawks if that happens. So, yeah, it's 50-50 to me right now, the way that they're playing. And I think some of it is that, hey, they're lacking. And, there's some games where it's like, what are you doing? You mentioned the defense in Dallas. But also you've got some pretty good teams that you played. I mean, obviously Baltimore is really good, and we're just not in that tier. They're 9 and 3. You look at Philly and San Francisco, they're just not on that level.